Hello and welcome back to another episode of Into the 99, where we've got 99 cards, because Commander's number one. I am one of your hosts, Daniel. I am joined today with both Brian and Slothy, aka Rando number 4. How are you guys doing today?
That was so good.
Oh, doing pretty good, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good. We played a lot of games this weekend. I think I played like 13 or 14 hours of Magic. I played Magic Friday in the daytime, Friday night streaming, and then also Saturday night we did a stream as well. So I got tons of games, and it was a really, really good time.
I was happy with those games, even though the lore of Brian carried on.
Yeah, the chat was really fun with those ones. If you guys haven't seen them yet, definitely check out the games we've been putting up on YouTube. They're a lot of fun to make, lots of fun to play with. Slothy came out last night. He got the new nickname Rando number 4. Slothy, the homeless magic guy.
We brought him to the game by pulling up in our white van and offering him cards.
Hey, you got some cards. Yeah. It was it was some really, really fun games. I had a great time playing this weekend. Brian, how have you been?
Oh, excellent. I was just not happy that they killed Brian first. Really, guys, I'm gonna come out with like a full 30-minute video of just why everyone should target Dad first and leave me alone.
All it is just replays of my plays. Yeah, the whole chat yesterday was so funny. They're just going off every time Brian casts up. They're like, Daniel, Tybalt's trickery it.
Yeah, counter it.
Yeah, they don't know that.
Did Rando 4
does that.
Yeah, did Rando number 4 not kill Brian yet?
Yeah, exactly. No. Right. No, it was they were great games. One of the games I actually played is the deck we're going to do today, and I talked about it when we did spoilers, and I think I talked about it again on last week's episode. I never shut up about this card. It's so fun. Like, it is just one of the coolest cards I've seen in a long time, and I'm amazed that it's a $3 card. My brain can't put that together. So this week, if you've read the episode title, we're doing Urza, Prince of Kroog. And this deck enables me to do my favorite thing in Magic, and we'll get to what my favorite thing in Magic is. My favorite card in Magic is in it. Urza is just a really, really cool, again, this is a $3 card for the foil. For the alt-art foil, this is $3.49. It's amazing. Urza, Prince of Kroog is 2, 1 white, 1 blue for a 2/3 human artificer. Artifact creatures you control get +2/+2. Then for 6 mana, you create a token that's a copy of target artifact you control, except it's a 1/1 soldier in addition to its other types. The ability to just turn so many artifacts, into creatures, them being creatures isn't as important to the rest of it, but there's a lot of artifacts that get very, very silly. They're not meant to be copied, and not meant to be copied in the quantity you can copy them with Urza.
Yeah. I do have to say I really enjoyed the new art style that they came out with like the blueprints on the sides.
The blueprint arts are really, really cool.
Bananas.
Yeah. We'll start this one off. Like, my land section's like really, really thin. It's a pretty budget land section. We've got just like the 2 artifact lands for the colors. And then I have the artifact land that taps for the white and the blue, like the dual effect.
Budget lands, $135 still, apparently.
Yeah, why are your islands $6 each?
My islands are $6 each?
Yeah.
Apparently. 21 lands at $6 a pop.
They populated as the jumpstart ones. That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah. This is my budget land base, $135, and it's most of it. Let me just change that over right now, really quickly.
That's so really funny.
Yeah, no, okay, so they're just normal islands. No crazy jumpstart islands. I'll put them as Baldur's Gate islands. There we go. Nice.
Oh, bad.
Nice back where they should be. All right, that does slim the deck budget down too. I was like, this looks kind of expensive. There are some expensive cards in it, but yeah, the land base isn't too crazy, and then neither are any of my other segments. Like I said, I build real different than Slothy. So we'll start with the sorceries. We've got Fabricate. It's 2 and a blue. You search your library for an artifact, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. The whole point of the deck is to make new artifacts, so that's really going to work a lot. Like, it's really going to help you.
Very simple sorcery list deck.
Yeah.
Don't you judge me.
Next up, we have Rise and Shine, a blue and a colorless. A target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 0/0 artifact creature. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on each artifact that became a creature this way.
So,
and it has overload for 6.
Number one, you're making so many artifact, like the deck's full of artifacts, and you're making artifact creatures. So everything that isn't a creature is going to become a creature. But Urza's first ability is often overlooked, and it's an anthem. So you're going to make everything that is non-creature 6/6s with this.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, really, really strong ability. And for the other ones, like the Urza's already buffing them up. So Rise and Shine is really going to put a lot of work in. It's a great finisher in any artifact-themed deck, and it's just a really cool card that came out.
Yeah. And the third and final sorcery we've got is Saheeli's Artistry, 4 double blue. Choose one or both. Create a token that's a copy of target creature, or artifact, or create a token that's a copy of target creature, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types.
This is killer.
Yeah.
This really does a lot of cool stuff in this deck, particularly because you're already making things you want to copy are going to become creatures. So you can hit like two, if you had like two Gilded Lotus, for instance, right? You've already made a copy. One's a creature, one's not. You can make another Gilded Lotus and then another creature Gilded Lotus. So you can get another 6 mana out of this, basically making this like essentially a free spell instantly, which is kind of nice. But it also, the really, really nice thing about this is you can get a copy of any target. Yeah, I can't talk. A copy of any target creature on the battlefield. So anything that's problematic, you can still hit with Saheeli's Artistry. And then with Urza's ability, it's nearly impossible to get rid of it, because if somebody tries to remove the problematic thing you've made a copy of, you just make another one. So if I copy, for instance, like Brian's Avacyn, and then Brian's like, oh, don't worry, I'll Path to Exile that Avacyn. I'm like, all right, I'll pay 6 mana and make another Avacyn. It's so annoying. Yeah, I really like Saheeli's Artistry. It puts in just a ton of work in a deck like this.
Yeah, I know you're excited, Dan. Just take a couple deep breaths, and then we'll carry on here.
For which one?
Just you getting out of words here.
Oh no, that's just my brain doesn't work. That's no excitement. We've also got two planeswalkers. This list is pretty much all artifacts, if you can't guess. So the first planeswalker is going to be Tezzeret the Seeker. It's just very solid in any artifact themed deck in general. It's 3 and double blue. You +1 untap up to 2 artifacts. A -X is search your library for an artifact with converted mana cost X or less, put on the battlefield, then shuffle. And -5 is they all become 5/5s. Artifacts you control become artifact creatures with base power and toughness 5/5. So 7/7s with Urza out, which is a game ender.
Yep. And
it starts at 4 loyalty, yeah.
I actually like that Planeswalker.
Yeah. Do you want to take this next one here, Brian?
Sure. We have Ugin, the Ineffable. 6 colorless. Legendary Planeswalker Ugin. Color spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. +1 exile the... What is that? Zoom in here. Woo! Exile the top card of your library face down and look at it. Create a 2/2 colorless spirit creature token. When that token leaves the battlefield, put the exiled card into your hand. Oh, that's neat. And then -3, destroy target permanent. That's one or more... one or more colors?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. The writing on this card is really small on my screen for some reason.
Yeah, it's just solid removal, but the fact that you're going to get... The deck list is mostly artifacts. So the fact that you're going to get a 2 mana reduction on them and some removal is nice.
Oh, yeah. No, that's very nice for this deck, actually.
Yeah, I love the Ugin.
I'm just looking through my other sections. They're all pretty also weak. We'll do instance, we'll do enchantments, and then we'll move on. So, Slothy, you start us instance.
Sure. So the first instant we got is Lauren's Escape. It's 1 white. Target artifact or creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, and scry 1.
Have I not seen this? Oh, it's one of the new cards.
Yeah, it's one of the new
cards. Yeah, really, really solid piece of protection.
This just seems to slot into everything that I do.
Yeah. This next one's one of my favorite cards to kill people in this deck with, again, just a really stupid card that we'll talk about when we get to it. But this is Masterful Replication. 5 and a blue, it's an instant. You can choose one. You create 2 colorless golem artifact creatures you control. That's not horrible if you need blockers, but that's not what we want. It's choose target artifact you control. Each other artifact you control becomes a copy of it until end of turn. This can really, really be a giant problem if you have anything that, like I have some damage reduction artifacts. I have a lot of draw artifacts. This can really, really end the game for someone. If anyone's playing a blue deck and has like a Teferi's Ageless Insight, something like that, you're going to get hurt against this deck with a Masterful Replication. Like,
I've never seen this card, but I like it.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And there's a lot of artifacts that are definitely worth power buffing like that.
Like, just for one turn, I want to have, like, 8 Mirage Mirrors.
Yeah.
And then I can have whatever I wanted.
Well, yeah, there's just, like, a lot of cards that are really, really solid with that ability. Like, even just making all of my things into mirror turbines, for instance, right? Is then I can go and, like, just turn everything into a token generator for the turn and, like, effectively double my artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool ones we'll get to, for sure.
There's one in here. Maybe I'm just meaner than you guys. I'll bring it up when we get to it.
Okay. And then, yeah, Brian, you want to finish this instant section? I love that we're saying finish this instant section at 3. we're 3 sections deep and we're at 8 cards.
So you're talking about being mean, and like in this deck, like the first thing that's popping to mind is I just want to make a whole bunch of like mesmeric orbs.
I should have put mesmeric orb in this. I never even considered that. But again, with that masterful replication, just turning everything into someone's ramped out really hard. And yeah, they've got like 15 lands untapped. I will turn 10 artifacts into mesmeric orbs. Go ahead, untap.
Yeah.
That'd be rough.
Like I'm just thinking about it. I was like, that would be totally funny, but super greasy.
that would be rough.
The next card that we do have here is that Whir? WHIR? Whir?
Yeah, Whir.
Whir of Invention. X and 3 blue. Instant. Improvise. Your artifacts can help you cast the spell. Search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost X or less. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. And even like most of the times, that's gonna be a 5 like drop, because most artifacts are like 2 that you're going to fetch.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna want it to be more than that. Like you're gonna want to go grab a good artifact with it. But you've got so many artifacts that it's gonna be really easy to hit that. Yep. Spoiler for the spoiler. There's a lot of ramp in this deck. There's a lot. Like I really want to use Urza's ability. There's a lot of ramp in this deck. So
well, it's so easy with artifacts.
You're not wrong. So our enchantment section, very weak, very small. It could be much better. The Mirrored and Besieged is a great one for this. I just, as I repeatedly say all the time, I build from what is generally in front of me at the time, and I didn't have Mirrored and Besieged in front of me, but that's a really, really good one with how many artifacts you have. And a good alternate kill people condition if you get board wiped.
I don't know how I haven't seen this first enchantment that you have.
Efficient Construction, yeah, it's a really solid one. It's 3 and a blue for whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact with flying.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick that up today. I did not even know about this card, and I played during that set.
That's fair. There's, take this next one here, Brian.
So we have Mechanized Production, 2 colorless, 2 blue, Enchantment Aura. Enchant artifact you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, you win the game.
I like this one.
Yeah, that's great, actually. As a 4-drop, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, I love a good you win the game. And again, it's doing what the deck is liking to do, which is making tokens of artifacts.
Like, I'm just sitting here thinking of dropping that on, like, the Blightsteel Colossus. Like, I just get all of these things with Infect and Trample.
What kind of animal would put Blightsteel Colossus into an artifact deck? That's not in this artifact deck.
Uh-huh.
I like that I just scroll up to double check. I was like, is it? No, I put that in the other artifact. That's in Liberator.
Oh, that's in this one too.
Oh no, that's in the creature section. Interesting. Yeah, no. Again, what kind of animal would put something like that in this deck?
I'm just like telepathically reading some minds here.
That was my masterful replication target.
Yeah, that's again. What kind of animals are you guys?
When there were like 30 artifacts on the field, like I'm going to turn them all into Blightsteels.
Especially going back to that efficient construction and stuff. A lot of times when you do anything that all your artifacts become creatures like the Tezzeret effect, the Masterful, you have like 40 artifacts out.
Oh, that's also that enchantment one too that makes all the enchantments their power.
Yeah.
Do you like that one? Starfield and Nyx?
I think Opalescence is enchantments though. I think there's an artifact an artifact one too.
Mm.
I think it's March the Machines.
That's a cool name if there is no card named that.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. That might just be something that's going on in my brain, but
And if not, Wizards, there you go. There's a thought present from us to you.
And then, I will end our enchantment section again. Another 3 section. It's just Tempered Steel. It's 1 double white. Artifact creatures you control get 2/2. Obviously. Yeah. It's just a really, really big buff. The fact that all of your Thopters from Efficient Construction, for instance, can come out as 5/5s because of Urza and this card, that's a problem. That's a really big issue, really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do our creatures and then we'll go into artifacts.
It's a smaller list, so makes sense.
So the first creature we got here is Arkham Dagson. 3 and a blue, legendary creature, human artificer. It's a 2/2. You can tap it to have target artifact creature's controller sacrifices it. That player may search their library for a non-creature artifact card, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle their library.
Huge problem if I get that out.
Mm-hmm.
Huge problem. This deck needs a Portal to Phyrexia, but I couldn't find any. Those cards just didn't get pulled. But that's a card I really want to be cloning lately.
Yeah,
Portal to Phyrexia is another great card to slot into this list just in advance if you find a Portal to Phyrexia and want to.
What does it do?
Portal to Phyrexia, it's like 9 mana. When it enters, each player sacrifices 3 creatures. Each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures. And then every upkeep, you bring a creature from a grave back. And that's something you can copy. So you can constantly... Yeah. It's not legendary. So with Urza's ability, you can just sit and have 10 of them where every time they enter, people if you have the mana, you could copy it 4 times. Everyone sacrifices 12 creatures. And then every upkeep, you get 4 creatures back.
That's Wonderbar.
Yeah, some real animal stuff. Speaking of some real animal stuff, Blightsteel Colossus has made an appearance in the deck. Again, who would do this? Not me. It's 12 mana, 11/11, trample, infect, indestructible. If it would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal it and shuffle it into its owner's library instead. Yeah, in a deck that you can clone artifacts, this is always good. And Urza is not non-creature, it is just target artifact you control. So you can make copies of Blightsteel that are hilariously only 1/1s, but still funny.
What set is this next card out of? Is this one of the new fancy 40k things?
No, the Kamigawa stuff.
Yeah.
I knew that that's one that you'd like for sure. Yeah, take that one, Brian.
Drum Bellower? Is this new though? Is this the last Kamigawa set?
Yeah, it's recently.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Drum Bellower, 2 and a white. It's a spirit, flying, untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. I need $5. I want them all.
Yeah, Drum Bellower. Yeah. It's especially because we're cloning, like I said earlier, a Gilded Lotus, for instance, right? Untapping those Gilded Lotuses every turn is a problem.
Those are creatures.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're fun.
Next, let's see. Born use. Love it. I love it.
Glad you like it, Brian.
Yeah. Please continue on. I'm just going to sit here and love this more.
Next up, we got Ethereum Sculptor, 1 and a blue for an artifact creature of a Vulcan Artificer, 1/2. Artifact spells you cast cost 1 less.
Yeah.
Another one that slots into every artifact deck.
Yeah, well, that and the Foundry Inspector, next thing on the list there, the 3 mana artifacts cost 1 less to cast. It's a 3/2. That's, if you can get copies of those, that's a real problem.
All my artifacts become free.
Yeah.
Then we got Goldmere. This is the last set that I could stop playing before I eventually moved out to Calgary. But this one just 2-drop, and it's a mirror, obviously, and it taps for a plane, so it's a little 1/1.
True.
Lots of ramp. I'll let you take your favorite card down.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to take this, Slothy. You have the next one. So it's a Howling Golem. I love Howling Mine. I love Howling Golem. The deck is called Howling Legion for an unspecified reason. It's 3 mana for a 2/3 Golem. Whenever it attacks or blocks, each player draws a card.
Yeah. Its flavor text is great, too. It wails of...
Yeah, go ahead.
It wails of buried riches, and the souls lost seeking them.
Yeah, I really like this card a lot.
I want someone send us some video clips. What do you think it's wailing about? Go.
True. This, the next one's nuts. Take it, Slothy.
Yeah, this next one is Jin-Gitaxias Progress Tyrant, 5 double blue for a 5/5 legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or a sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. And whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, counter that spell, and it triggers only once each turn.
I was looking at that yesterday.
Card's gross.
Yeah.
Especially for us, like doubling up our artifacts, but also the protection it's providing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice protection. Again, it reminds me of like the glass spinner.
Yeah, Kira.
And then the next one up, we have Master Transmuter, 3 and a blue. Artifact creature, human artificer. It's a tap a blue, tap it. Return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. You may put an artifact card from your hand onto the... Oh, wow. It swaps places. I like it.
Yeah, it's really good to cheat in a Blightsteel.
Yeah.
I just didn't even think of that.
Tap the Soul Ring for one, return it.
What kind of monster would do that?
What kind of animal? Yeah, no, it's really, really good to just sit and like blink out like anything, like even like a Mox Amber if you have 0 mana, return it. It's good.
You lost my respect with the next card.
The next card, yeah, Memnarch. So again, there's a lot of ramp in the deck, and Memnarch is twofold. Number one is it's a 7 mana wizard. It's legendary. It's 4/5. It has 2 abilities, and we care greatly about both of these abilities in this deck. Number one, it is 1 double blue. Target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types. Any of my creatures that I want to, like anything that is not like a Master Transmuter, for instance, right? Or the Ethereum Sculptor. Any of those cards that I want more of, turning them into an artifact so that I can clone them is great as well.
I didn't even think about doing like your own stuff.
Yeah, as well. So that's like really, really great that you can do that. I can get more mechanized productions. I can get more of the tempered steels. Like there's a lot of really, really cool things that we can make copies of. Then the other side.
Oh, you can make copies of the auras. Couldn't you make those artifacts and then copy those too?
Of which ones?
Like the auras or the enchantments?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
oh, wow.
Yeah, any of those.
That's fantastic.
So you could make 10, 20 efficient constructions if you wanted.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah, so it's pretty good in that sense, but it has another ability, and that other ability is 3 and a blue. You gain control of target artifact. First off, taking people's soul rings, hilarious. It's always a good time, but you can generate a lot of this. This deck is pretty silly, and you can at a certain point generate enough mana to just take the board. I didn't put any of the infinite Rings of Bright Hearth kind of infinite combo stuff in here to generate the infinite mana, but you get to a point where you have close enough.
Or you can.
Yeah. It becomes a problem.
Next up. Yeah. Is, do you want to take this one?
No, go ahead.
Okay, we got Metalworker. It's a 3 colorless. This card's too rich for my blood, but I've seen it in person. You tap it, reveal any number of artifact cards in your hand, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool for each card revealed this way. And it's like Care Bear staring down a golem.
You can make a lot of copies of this.
Yep.
I'll reveal the same card 6 times.
12 mana?
Yeah. Well, no, it's for each artifact you reveal.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So if you reveal 5 artifacts 6 times, you get 60 mana. 50 mana? No, 60 mana. Yeah, my math was right. Yeah, it's a lot. And then you get 10 Urza activations. You make 10 more Metalworkers. Things repeat itself. I like Metalworker because of, number one, it's great ramp, but number two, I like to threaten the table. And I would sit and just reveal here's a Blightsteel, here's a Memnarch.
In my mind now, I'm just popping in with Urza and the fashionable boots. I'm just trying to make a copy of all the different boots and equip them to everyone.
True. Swords Urza could be really, really fun too if you put a ton of ramp in and just gave him the swords.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine being slapped with 10 swords of fire and ice? Wouldn't like that.
Oh.
You want to take this next one, Slothy, here?
Sure. This next one we got is Padim, Consul of Innovation. 3 and a blue for a 1/4 legendary creature, Vidalcan Artificer. Artifacts you control have hexproof, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest mana value or tied for the highest mana value, draw a card.
Yeah, you're usually
yeah.
You're the artifact deck.
The flavor text impress me.
True. The next we have is just a card that's really, really annoying. It's actually not very fun to play against.
You don't say.
Yeah. Especially because it's already an artifact, you can already clone it so easily. So once it gets out, it's pretty hard to get rid of. It's Platinum Angel at 7 mana. It's a 4/4 flyer. You can't lose the game. Your opponents can't win.
Yep.
It feels bad to lose a game when the person who beat you is at -400 life.
Yeah, I'd be very angry about that one.
Yeah, it's not great. It's pretty rough, but I like it in the deck a lot. I think it puts in a lot of good work. Oh, take this next one. This is a really, really cool card for the deck. It's a new one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I either remember calling it out when we were going through like the spoilers, as it looks really cool. I like the colors in the background, but we have Platoon Dispenser, 5 colorless. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more other creatures, draw a card. You can pay 3 and a plains, create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token, and you can unearth it for 2 and 2 white.
I really like this card a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Hear that thud clank, we're saved.
Number one is it's just a great draw engine. Controlling 2 creatures in a deck that's making token creatures, not hard at all. But
No.
you can make a platoon of Platoon Dispensers, and then the Platoon Dispensers also have a mana sink to make a platoon of soldiers, and they're artifact soldiers.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, and also with Urza's ability too, like this is like a 6/8 when it drops for 5 mana.
Well, then all the colorless soldiers are also popping out as 3/3s, and then with your other stuff, 5/5s or whatever.
Yeah, Urza gets out of control pretty quick. Again, I'm blown away that Urza is a $3 card. My brain can't piece that together. Maybe I'm just like seeing it differently than everyone else, but no, this deck is strong. You could literally just put mana rocks in the deck, nothing but mana rocks, and still have a very strong deck with Urza.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I might make one of those, just a budget Urza deck that says Urza rocks.
Yep.
Next one we got is Shimmer Mirror, 3 mana for a 2/2 artifact creature mirror with flash, and you may cast artifact spells as though they had flash.
Yeah. Solid. We've got more ramp with the Silver Mirror, 2 mana for a 1/1 mirror that taps to add 1 mana of any color, or 1 mana that's blue, not of any color. That would be very different. So, Mirror of Paradise.
Well, one mana of any color as long as that color is blue.
True.
And of course, we're going to have Solemn Simulacrum in here. When Solemn Simulacrum enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card and put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. When he dies, draw a card, or it dies.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's obviously an include.
We got Steel's Overseer next, 2 mana for a 1/1 artifact creature construct. You can tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control.
Yeah.
Pretty good when you can make copies of it, I'd say.
I like it.
There's just everything's so gross now, seeing how many times you can.
My favorite way, I've played this deck, I would say 6 times total so far. And all 6 times I've got to do what I wanted to do with the deck. And that's, we'll get to it. Yeah. But it's really, really fun. I like it a lot. And then the final creature we've got on this list is Vidalcan Archmage. 2 double blue for a Vidalcan Wizard, 0/2. Whenever you cast an artifact, you draw.
Sense?
Yeah, the deck's got pretty solid draw. Now we're going to get into our artifacts, which is, we've got 36 of them that are just raw artifacts.
I love how that's like the opposite to like all of my decks. Like I have 36 creatures.
Yeah. Well, 36, we got 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. We've got 45 raw artifacts in the deck. Like, that's pretty huge. And then if you include lands, it's up to 48. Like, nearly 50% of the deck is artifact.
Which is what you want.
Yeah, it does definitely work. It's a pretty low curve in this deck, too. Like, it says your average is 3, but having 3 when you have 36 things that are mostly like mana rocks isn't a trouble.
At all.
Yeah, so I'll start us off in our artifact list of Arcane Signet. Just a nice, simple 2 mana. You add 1 mana of any color of your commander's identity. Who has a problem with that?
Not unless you blow it up. Blow it up.
True. Yeah, we got... Somebody blew my Soul Ring up on like turn 2 last game. That somebody was Matt. Who plays like this?
You guys. Next up, we have Blink Moth Urn, 5 colorless. At the beginning of each player's pre-combat main phase, if Blink Moth Urn is untapped, that player adds a colorless for each artifact they control. You can copy that? Oh, man.
Yeah, this card cannot be allowed to stay on the field with Urza whatsoever.
Nope.
Once you've had 2 or 3 turns of copying the Blink Moth Urn, you're constantly like starting your turn with 60 or 70 mana, and it's just something people can't come back from.
No, I feel like once you hit the amount of mana, like that production, like even in my Selvala deck, when I start like pumping out that like the absurd amount of mana, it just quickly gets out of hand. Especially if all of your drawing that you're doing. You're just replenishing your hand every time you cast.
Well, and what's nice about Urza too is that it has the mana sink right on the creature.
Yep. If you don't have anything to do, you're able to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they gave it green as well? Nuts.
Yeah. All the ramp. Ha!
Monster. Next up, we got Commander Sphere, 3 mana. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Sack it to draw a card.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I just make a bunch. I don't need the mana. I'm just going to sacrifice them for the card draw.
True.
Yeah.
We've got Coveted Jewel, which is really, really fun to start copying. It's 6 mana. When it enters the battlefield, you draw 3 cards. Taps to add 3 mana of any one color. So those are great abilities. Whenever one or more creatures an opponent controls attacks you and aren't blocked, that player draws 3 cards, gains control of it, untaps it. This is really, really fun, because if there's 10 or 11 Coveted Jewels out, no one's really going to keep attacking anymore, because they're going to have to draw 30 cards on every attack. They will have a ton of mana, but
yeah.
Now I understand why you blocked the attack when they attacked you. Plus it was for 11 damage.
Yeah, I didn't want. Well, yeah, I didn't want. Were you watching that game when I was playing Urza?
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. The player. So Alex played Underworld Dreams, which is 1 damage every time you draw, and I was about to make like 30 of these. So I was going to draw like 60 or 70 cards, but I was going to do it on attack when I got attacked, and then make it so somebody took it, and then wreck the game for everyone. But then he played that when I didn't have the mana to do it, so I couldn't do it. I lost 15 life to make Coveted Jewel copies.
Should.
It's rough. It was rough for sure. It's a really, really cool card to copy, and I love it just as a politics card in general. It's really fun to play around and have people just say like, hey, can I hit you? I need the card draw kind of thing. And it's, oh, well, what do you do for me?
It was really fun in the Brina pre-con.
Yeah, it's just one of my favorite cards, like over and over. I like putting it in decks, and I like to call things group hug, but like I can't say that this is a group hug deck, but having a little bit of goodwill to the table when you're doing annoying shenanigans, it never hurts. Being able, and especially like if someone's having a bad game, there's some of these games that are coming on YouTube. They're some of the worst games I played. I played the Warhammer 40k pre-con in one. We played a Plains Chase game. This was not a good game for me. This was like one of the worst showings I've ever had in Magic history, I would say. It was rough. It was real bad. But yeah, just buying some goodwill to the table is nice. So Coveted Jewel is always good to slot in if you've got it. It's 6 mana is not that much for the 3 mana you get immediately and 3 card draw.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Darksteel Forge. Obviously, 9 mana. Artifacts you control have indestructible.
Yeah.
Who hurt you?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Got Darksteel Ingot, 3 mana. Indestructible. Tap to add 1 of any color.
Yeah. No issue there. The next one, too. One of my favorite cards that I've seen printed in a while. I put this in a lot of decks just all the time. Decanter of Endless Water. It's 3 mana, max hand size, and 1 mana of any color.
Yeah. I love the alt art for this one.
Like the sketch version?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that this is such a good budget mana rock. The sketch version does look really cool.
I actually really like that. I'm going to have to pick some of those up.
Yeah, especially for like a really cheap card. Like it's like under $1. It solves a lot of problems in a lot of decks. Like I said, it's just a really good cheap. They've made tons of great cheap mana rocks this year.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that you have no maximum hand size.
Yeah, right. Like it solves problems. I like it.
Is this a new one? I don't think I've ever seen this one.
No, it's just a new frame.
Okay. Dreamstone Hedron, 6 colorless. Tap it to add 3 colorless to your mana pool. You can pay 3, tap, and sacrifice it, and draw 3 cards.
Yeah, there's a lot of like hidden draw in this deck.
You have a lot of draw.
We got Empowered Auto Generator, 4 mana, enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to put a charge counter on Empowered Auto Generator. Add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of charge counters on it.
Yeah, Empowered Auto Generator is a really cool ramp piece.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I think it has really cool flavor text. The magic, unlike physics, has no unbreakable laws. That is how I like to play.
It's a cool. I like that flavor text.
We've also got a Fell Warstone. Again, just some real basic low mana ramp. 2 mana. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Land an opponent controls could produce.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to get a turn 2 Urza out in this deck too. There's A lot of really, really low mana ramp.
And I guess, Dan, to set you up there, we have some more ramp coming up. Firemind Vessel, which comes into play tapped, and you can tap it for 2 mana of different colors. And we have the Gilded Lotus, again, 5 colors, and tap it, add 3 mana of any color.
Oh, yeah. So, first off, Firemind Vessel, another great one to make copies of, and so is Gilded Lotus. Like, I really like making Gilded Soldiers, you know, the Lotus Lotus Battalion. It's a pretty cool thing to constantly have them. I wish there was haste enablers for them, but kind of is what it is. I could have put a Elixir of Immortality in the deck. That could speed them up, but it's all right. But, so, the next card is my favorite card to kill the table with in this deck, and it's what I've gone out of my way to try. It's Howling Mine. I love putting Howling Mine in every deck I can put Howling Mine in. Everyone hears me preach the good word of Howling Mine on a weekly basis, and if people aren't picking it up now, I don't know what else I could tell you to do. But it
does howl at the table sometimes.
Yeah, it does. It does really, again, by some goodwill, it gets games going. But it's just really funny in this deck. Howling Mine is 2 mana. At the beginning of each player's draw step, if it's untapped, that player draws an additional card. It's really fun to make like 60 Howling Mines. It really puts a clock on the game, and it's really funny for people to die to Howling Mine. My favorite finisher in the deck is the Howling Mine of somebody. That's why I was saying the Masterful Replication. It's really funny on someone's turn when there being a problem, and I only have like a Howling Mine out, to turn the table and be like, hey, there's 80 Howling Mines in play. And watch, it's really funny. I love it. It's one of my favorite cards.
Especially if they're like ramping hard or they're just drawing a whole bunch of cards, and you're like, I force.
That,
like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Goes to your turn.
If you're a draw commander and you've got like Alhamert's Archive, Teferi's Ageless Insight, any of those things, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Yeah, it's Howling Mine is such a funny card. I love using it, and I love the fact the moment I saw this spoiled, that was what my brain went to. It was, hey, I can make copies of Howling Mine, and it would be really funny to have like 100 Howling Mines out. Yeah. I need to get a bunch of Infinity tokens and then draw the Howling Legion. That's why the deck is called Howling Legion, by the way. It's so I can make Howling Mines and Howling Golems. The Howling Golems are funnier because on attack they make everyone draw, so it is really funny to force draw. That is another quick aside. It's one of the most annoying things you can do in games is to force a 4-person draw. No one likes that. If there's a clear winner, everyone likes it, but when you joke around and you're like, I'll attack with 80 Howling Golems, we all draw 80 cards and everyone loses at the same time. No one enjoys that, and it's so funny. Because unless someone has like an Angel's Grace.
No one enjoys that. It's so funny.
I enjoy it, but it's usually me doing it, so I'm usually not on the other end of it.
You're a monster.
Yeah, I love it. And again, Urza's ability being able to be activated right at any point, like it's not... I'm shocked. It has white in it. I'm shocked it didn't staple on some like nonsense. Do this ability only once a turn, and if the moon is in its 3rd phase, like it's the... I'm shocked that they just let this like be whenever it needs to be. And again, the fact that you can just
didn't weaken the white.
Yeah, the fact that you can just like dump so much mana into it is so funny so quickly. Like you can kill whoever's problematic so fast with it. Yeah. And they are 3/3 Howling Mines.
Yeah,
just the amount of different things that you're able to copy in this deck. Like every game you could be like, I have a different goal.
Yeah, it's really fun to make like a weird board state. There's so many cool things that are really, really fun to have just like triplicates of or multiples of there. I just really, really like this deck. I usually don't play decks repeatedly. And like I said, I've played this deck a bunch of times. It's probably gonna stay pretty similar to this. Like I might tool it down a little bit different, but it's probably gonna stay in like this form for like it'll be like one of my long-term decks. And it's just so fun. I've had a blast playing it every time. It gets out of control so fast. Again, there will be a game on YouTube shortly with it. It'll be either this week or next week's game. And it's insane. It's insane how fast this deck like ramps out and has like just mana that you can't deal with. Mana-less.
Everything's mana?
Yeah. And it is also really, really funny to just make a bunch of 1/1 Blightsteel Colossus and still kill the table with them.
Okay, moving on before he gets into more degenerate things. We have Ichor Wellspring. 2 mana, enters the battlefield, or is put into a graveyard. You can draw a card.
I like it.
Yeah, like you mentioned, all that hidden draw.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice if someone's setting up a board wipe, you just make a quick, 4 copies of it, and, okay, well, I'll take 4 draw.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of your artifacts are going to survive the majority of board wipes. If someone's playing a farewell, they're farewell to our friendship. That's the problem with this deck. That's this deck's big weakness. Vandal Blast, farewell, any of that nonsense? No, not in this house.
Cyclonic Rift.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Yuck.
So the next card, Illusioner's Bracers, 2 colorless. So it's an equipment. Whenever an ability of equipped creature is activated, if it isn't a mana ability, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for that copy, and the equip cost is 3.
This is another card that cannot stay on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Because if you put it on Urza and have 6 mana, you make 2 more, and you put them on, and then, it's a lot. So every time, you can get Urza to a point where you're making 10 copies every time you cast 6 mana. Like I said, the deck can get out of hand really, really quickly. Also, nothing is stopping you from having 5 of them, and Illusionist Bracers the Master Sculptor, and just dumping 30 mana in for losing 5, losing a Thopter or 2. Yeah. We have a bunch of junk ramp as well. We've got 3 mana for Letter of Acceptance. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color. Pay 2, tap it, sack it, draw a card.
There's just so much draw here for you. Next up, we have Liquimetal Coating.
Oh, it is
Liquimetal. Yeah, Liqui.
I've always thought it was liquid.
Metal.
I always call it liquid metal, and I won't stop.
2 colorless. It's an artifact. Tap it. Target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until end of turn. But if it's an artifact for 1 turn, obviously I'm going to have copies of it after that.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's going to let you make copies of, again, things that you want to. Especially, as well, let's not discount as well that this just also makes the Memnarch ability really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Tap it, turn.
You don't have to turn it?
Yeah, turn their commander into a artifact, take the artifact, start making copies of it.
I read this next card as Took. I'm pretty sure you were mentioning this last night, Slothy.
Yeah. Next one is Liquimetal Torque. 2 mana for an artifact, tap to add colorless, or tap target non-land permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until end of turn. Yeah. I like Took more.
Yeah.
Liquimetal Took.
The only real difference is the non-land and land and then the ramp, but I do have to also mention that Liquimetal Coating does make it so that I can start taking people's cool lands.
Ooh.
And then copying them.
I guess you could do that, I guess.
Yeah, with you can get, if somebody's played a Cabal Coffers Urborg kind of thing, right? You can take their Cabal Coffers.
I get a Cabal as well.
Then you can start making copies of the Cabal Coffers. It's fun. It's fun times. It's good, clean, balanced fun for everyone.
You were right. You do have a lot of junk ramp in here.
A lot of junk ramp in here. The fact that this deck functions so well with the garbage I've put in it makes me happy.
I'm surprised. There's no mana vault or mana. I'm surprised. Those key kata mana rocks.
There's 1 expensive one, but again, you can cut it for just any other junk one, and this deck will still function well. I didn't put the crypt or any of the full disclosure, I have a Mishra's Factory, but I didn't put that in this because no, not Mishra's Factory, Workshop, whatever the expensive one is. It's also in Urza, the Liberator one. I felt like trying to be a little more balanced with this because I saw this early on as being out of control. The fact that just looking through this artifact list, it doesn't even seem, if a Blightsteel's in your opening hand, it's not even something that you have to look at and be like, no, there's no way I can keep that. You can get there pretty quick. But yes, the other junk ramp that we're talking about is Marble Diamond. It's 2 mana. It enters the battlefield tapped, and it taps for 1 white.
It's so good.
It's
amazing.
I've never seen something so good. Next up, we have Midnight Clock, 2 and a blue. Tap to add a blue. Tap 2 and a blue. Put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. At the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. When the 12th hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards, exile Midnight Clock. But I have 8 of these already.
Yeah, you can just keep doing it so that You can basically, if you do it like once every few turns, you can just make it so that on everyone's turn, everyone loses their hand repeatedly.
It just keeps like giving them all new hands and you all new hands. It just keeps replenishing everything.
Yeah, 7 new cards every turn, and let's see what happens.
That's some roulette right there.
That's just for you, though, isn't it?
No, everyone, I think. Oh, no, yeah, shuffle your hand. Yeah, so it's only me. I would get a new hand every turn.
Yep.
Not
That's
everyone.
great, actually. I really like that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I thought it was everyone for some reason. A good old wheel. Good old-fashioned wheel, but I guess not. But I guess it's not.
Next up, we got Mind Stone. 2 mana, tap to add colorless, or pay 1 and tap it to sacrifice it and draw a card.
Yeah, I saw your face, Brian. You take it. Go ahead, please.
Next up, we have Mind Crank, 2 colorless, and whenever an opponent loses a life, that player mills that many cards.
Let go of
Let's
your memories
go.
and be reborn. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, this is it's again another card that really can't stay out, because with the ability to, again, at any time dump that mana into Urza, you can like turn 1 mana into like someone losing the game, or 1 damage, sorry, into someone losing the game. Like somebody's just like, oh, I gotta hit with my commander so I can draw, and you're like, okay, and I'm like, response, 13 Mind Cranks.
Yeah. I make all the Mind Cranks. That, god damn.
Oh, the next one, another really, really good MVP card in this deck. Mirage Mirror, 3 mana. It's artifact for 2. It becomes a copy of target artifact, creature, enchantment, or land until end of turn. Again,
So good.
we can only copy our own artifacts, so we have to control them to do that. This gives us the ability to get things over at least onto our side to copy them. Because if Brian has a Seedborn, for instance, right, turning it into a artifact with like the liquid without a D metal torque kind of thing, right? That doesn't make it so I can copy it. It just makes it so it's an artifact. But if I can get that over here, then now I can start like copying those other things. And this is another great way to not as degenerately take people's land, because the Mirage Mirror will go back, but the copy will be just the copy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like
that.
Mirage Mirror. It puts a lot of work into this deck.
Yeah.
This is, the next one also is like one of the only expensive artifacts in the deck. It's Mox Opal. 0 mana. It has Metalcraft. You tap to add 1 mana of any color. Activate only if you control 3 or more artifacts.
Which obviously you're going to.
Yeah, Mox Diamond's great in this deck too, but it's that's one I use in like decks that really need the ramp. Like I put a lot of like Mox Amber, sorry, not Mox Diamond. I put a lot of like, well, also Mox Diamond, but like Mox Ambers, I put in a lot of like mono white decks that like really like are hurting for that ramp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seeing like a Mana Crypt and stuff like pop up in like a mural list doesn't hurt as much as like if it popped up in this where I'm trying to turn 1 Urza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mox Opal's like another, between Mox Opal and like the, what's it called? The Metalworker, you cut the deck list in half, cost-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Metalworker was the other expensive one.
Yeah, unless you have $6 islands, in which case you don't.
Next up, we got Mirror Turbine, 5 mana. Tap it to put a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token onto the battlefield, or you can tap it to tap 5 untapped mirror you control. Search your library for a mirror creature card, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. Just good to make little guys.
It was initially in here because of Mirror Battlesphere, because I was going to be able to make so many and kill people on the attack, but then I ended up cutting Mirror Battlesphere. But
basically, the Mirror Turbine's going to pop out little artifacts for you that you can turn into whatever you want.
Well, and that's what I like, right? Like with Blink Moth, they're just nice artifacts that I can throw away as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen this one. Prototype Portal, 4 colorless artifact imprint. When Prototype Portal enters the battlefield, you may exile an artifact card from your hand. Pay X and tap it. Create a token that's a copy of the exiled card. X is the converted mana cost of that card. Oh, I like this one. That's cool.
Yeah, it also, there's a lot of great things to make copies of in this.
Yeah.
Another really, really good, we've got Relic of Legends. And I'm not surprised to see that it's already crept up to $1.50 for an uncommon. It's 3 mana. It taps for 1 mana of any color. Again, still solid stats for like a cheap rock. But it also lets you tap untap legendary creatures you control for 1 mana of any color. That's just a really good ability.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I really like Relic of Legends. It's, again, especially in like a white deck, things that need that early ramp is really good. It's really, really good in Nor and the Wary as well.
The flavor text is neat, too. If the worst parts of history can repeat themselves, it stands to reason that the best parts can as well.
That's like,
A little bit uplifting.
Yeah, that's happy. Happy in these dark times. I like it.
Next up, we have... I don't know. Is it my turn? We got Sculpting Steel, 3 colorless. You may have Sculpting Steel enter the battlefield as a copy of any artifact on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This the first Sculpting Steel is fun to ramp out. The first version of this deck had a Training Grounds in it. I played it one time. Training Grounds had to come out because you can copy Training Grounds so quickly that you can just like make it so that there's 1 mana for Urza's ability, and it just gets nuts. So I replaced the Training Grounds with the Sculpting Steel. I was like, you know what? That's more fair, more balanced. But yeah, 3 mana copy of any artifact is really good.
Yep.
I like it. And it's only 59 cents. Kind of surprised.
Is it? I think that's just the deck version.
Oh.
Yeah, I wish that it would just put the actual versions that I have without me having to change them the whole time. By the time it's up, they should be changed. No, it's still around like 35 cents, it says, so.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up so many of these then. Sculpting Steel is great. Sloth, do you want to take this next one?
Yeah. Next up, we got Semblance Anvil, 3 mana artifact. You can imprint it. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile an online card from your hand, and spells you cast that share a card type with the exiled card cost 2 less to cast.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, really easy. Again, most of your artifacts can become free really quick.
I never really played like a lot of artifact decks because like it's just I find that they get out of hand way too easily.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We've also got some more garbage ramp with Sky Diamond. 2 mana, enters tapped, and you tap to add 1 blue. I like that they've been putting these in lately. I like just having stacks of like cheap, rampable things.
Yeah.
Love this card in the old frame.
Oh, I forgot this deck is also supposed to, for anyone seeing the video, it's supposed to have this card in it. It's Power Stone Shard. So I did forget to put that back into it, but Power Stone Shard is 3 mana. It taps, you add a colorless for each artifact you control named Power Stone Shard, another card that gets out of hand. So definitely, if you're looking at this list, put Power Stone Shard in place of any of my garbage ramp or anything that's expensive.
Yep. I could see it probably being pretty useful, actually.
Yeah, you can also do those with like the Blink Moth lands as well, because you can copy them pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah, any of the artifact lands, too. Wow.
Yeah, like the Locust things. Yeah, Prototype Portal with the lands is really fun, so you can just like keep tapping 0 to put a land into play every turn. Especially if you have like something that's untapping your stuff, like if I've like stolen a Seedborn for a turn, made a copy of it. Every turn I just dump in an extra land, get 4 extra lands, 4 extra mana every time around. Because this deck needs more mana, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if nothing else. Speaking of more mana, we also have Soul Ring, because, yeah, of course we have Soul Ring. 1 mana.
I love the frame.
Taps for 2, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I don't think I've seen this one. Spine of Ishsa? 7 colorless. When Spine of Ishsa enters the battlefield, destroy target permanent. When Spine of Ishsa is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return Spine of... Sorry? To its owner's hand. Okay.
Yeah, I think this card's really, really solid. It's very hard to get rid of. And it's another great target to be copying, like to just blow problematic things off the board.
Yeah, if you're just making copies of it too. Wow, yeah. That's going to be very nice.
Copies that are 1/1 soldiers. Soldiers of Ishsa.
Plus 2/2. Oh, man.
We got Symmetry Matrix, 4 mana. Whenever a creature with power equal to its toughness enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card.
Yeah. This card's great.
Good. And this one, yeah, I love this one.
Yeah, I just like it in general, but yeah, definitely, especially with the you're making soldiers, like it's just a great mana sink to keep drawing cards.
Yeah, the flavor text is so cocky on this. Achieving perfection is simple. Watch. I'll do it twice.
Yeah, Mishra's Wilden. When you said you don't play artifacts, I'm shocked you don't play artifacts, because there's stuff like this next one, Brian. Like, you take this next one.
Oh, I have this one. I got a nice shiny one, but again, so we have Unwinding Clock for colorless. Untap all artifacts you control during each other player's untap step.
Yeah, that's really quickly. Making copies of this will not give you additional untaps. It will all untap at one time. So 5 doesn't do it. You can't do anything in the untap step, even if it did. So don't copy this. But this does make it so that you can get all of your copies. Like if you're copying a Gilded Lotus and you have 30 of them, and every time you just make 90 mana a turn, that's going to translate into what the kids call a problem.
I'd say at least make like 2 copies.
Just in case one goes?
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3. Maybe 3. 3's even.
The next one I really like because Sloth, you take the next one, but it's I really like it because of the flavor of the commander, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's Urza's Armor, 6 mana. If a source would deal damage to you, prevent 1 of that damage.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal card to make copies of because then you become pseudo immortal.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then also the flavor text describes how I play this deck. Urza protected his body well, but really he neglected his soul. Yeah, that's me for sure. Soulless playstyles of Blightsteals.
Yeah.
And then
I'm making Urza's Armor soldiers.
Yeah, the soldiers of Urza.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah, and then we also have Worn Power Stone. 3 mana, it enters tapped, it adds 2 mana. Another really fun thing that you can do about this, depending about how you feel about your playgroup, if you just don't respect them, you could get to a point, again, I love everyone I play with, but if you didn't respect them as people, you could gather all the mana you wanted and then just kill them with an army of Sky Diamonds. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I'll attack you with 50 Sky Diamonds and 50 Marble Diamonds. Responses?
Man, I have to say, a lot of these artifacts have such great flavor. Like that Worn Power Stone, like power comes in many shapes, but real power does the shaping.
Yeah. That's the 40k Worn Power Stone. That's nice.
Yeah.
No, this deck, like I said, it's just a phenomenal deck to play, especially looking through the list. I'm sure everyone has been able to see that you can really, really cut, like you can slim this list down a lot. If you take out like a Blightsteel is $70, the Mox Opal is $70, and then so that's $140 of the list, and then the Metal Worker is $140 as well. So like $280. Like this deck drops down to like a $250 deck, changing out 3 cards, and it can drop like even farther and stuff. Like after that, like you don't really need a Dark Steel Forge. Your artifacts don't have to be indestructible.
Oh, this is probably the most budget deck I've ever seen you build.
I've been building a lot of like more budgeter's not a word, more budget friendly decks.
I'm sorry, because that word's not in your vocabulary.
Yeah, more budget. But the deck costs
budget.
Yeah, no, but I really really like playing this deck. It's performed super fun every time. The artifacts all interact so well with each other. The Power Stone shard is definitely an increase to add in. But yeah, no, I love every part of this deck. It's been so fun to play, and I think I'm gonna make a second, just really really budget version of it, and just see, because again, even just making like junk artifacts, like you can put nothing but ramp in the deck. At that point, it doesn't really matter if people kill Urza, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna board wipe my Sky Diamonds? Grow up.
I'm surprised Ornithopter's not in here.
Yeah, it's Ornithopter Paradise, any of those things.
Yeah.
I'm just saying a 0 drop would become a 2-3?
Yeah, but that doesn't ramp.
Yeah.
It would become a 2-3, actually. Didn't even think about that. You know how funny it would be to kill people with Ornithopter of Paradises? The Army of Paradise? Urza's Paradise Army? Yeah,
welcome to the jungle.
like I said, I'm probably gonna very quickly here put up a second version of this deck, just because it just does so much. It does a lot of exactly what I like in a deck, and I've just had nothing but fun playing with this. So maybe even if depending how budget it is and stuff, like maybe I'll play like a hyper budget version on stream as well, just to show people like the power of ramping and making 1,000 Howling Mines.
Yeah,
you know,
up and things.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun. Like I'm just going through my like pile of like budget rocks like on the deck or on the table here, and there's some cool stuff.
Well, really, like just with your ability to make anything into an artifact, like you could, like the ceiling is, there's really no ceiling.
Yeah, the the deck is like almost all blue cards. There's not really many things that like have or interact with white whatsoever. But it's just been like a blast to play this deck. Like I can't say enough good things about it. I can't for any reason understand why this cool looking foil version of a card is $3. Like it makes no sense to me. But yeah, I'm in love with this deck.
No, I've only heard you say good things about it, and I've seen you play it like a handful of times now, twice.
Yeah,
twice, 3 times. Yeah.
There's only 5 white pips in the deck, so
sorry you don't have devotion.
Yeah, literally, white is only in the deck to get Urza out and to buff the artifacts. Yeah, but no, I'll rant all day about how much fun this deck is and like silly things I've seen it do in games already. The deck list will be in the show notes. If you've got other artifacts that you think should have been in the list, I would love to know what they are. And yeah, I will end there. Thank you guys so much for listening. If any of these cards are expensive and you don't want to spend like $150 on a metalworker, go to abyssproxyshop.com, promo code IT99. That's going to get you a discount at checkout. Great looking proxies. They're really, really nice quality. I'm going to be doing a video as well soon of the review of them. I've got some of those coming in the mail, so they've been pretty cool. And yeah, check out all of our stuff. It's on into99.com. We've been doing lots more streams lately. Come see Rando number 4, myself and our friend Matt and Brian play. They're really, really great decks. And yeah, I've been having a blast making content. Thanks everyone who keeps showing up for it. And yeah, if you guys like what we're doing, hit like, hit subscribe, share it, show some friends. We're gonna be doing some fun, more conversation-based episodes soon. I know Brian's excited for those. And yeah, that's the end of my ranting. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and everyone have a great day.
Enjoy your week, guys.
See ya.